Oh boy. Video games. Hi, I'm definitely not a ripoff of one Sir Naked J-Kid. Call me Clothed Caleb. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I don't know. Download my SoundCloud raps. Nope, something fell. This is actually a really comfortable way to make videos. Honestly, I can see why he does this. Hi, I'm Caleb, and I want to give you my terrible opinions about video games. What opinions am I sharing with you today? I don't think the $90 or $80, whatever it is, Switch game price is that bad. Switch games being $80-$90 could actually bring some much needed change to the gaming industry. And that's what I want to talk about today. In this 8-hour video essay, I'm probably not the first person to bring up inflation when it comes to video games. Actually, I know I'm not, because it's like every freaking day I hear this word. But that's the reasoning being used to justify these high prices. And on one hand, I'm sick and tired of hearing the word inflation, and on the other hand, I kind of agree. I'm not an economist, I'm a business major, which means that I don't know what I'm talking about, but I'm going to pretend like I do when it comes to everything regarding the economy, business, and just the world in general, because I know better than you. In economics, inflation is an increase in the average price of goods and services in terms of money. This is usually measured using a consumer price index, or a CPI. In this article I found from like 2010, it shows that the PlayStation 3 was $500 to $600, which in today's money is like $800, and I figured that out using one of these fancy calculators on the internet, which I will show you now. I'm not connected to the popping in a $50 price tag, which is standard for 2007 when the Wii came out. You can see that a $50 game like Mario Galaxy or a $60 game like Skyward Sword would be either $80 or $95. So that's actually how much money you were spending back in the day. Not too different from right now. What's even crazier is that if a Switch came out now without any upgrades, a Nintendo Switch 1 from 2017, you would spend $300 on it. Well, in today's money, that would be $400. Just because the number you're spending is going up by a drastic amount doesn't mean you're actually spending more than you would have spent 20 years ago. It just means that the actual number is increasing. But reason number two that I think this will be good for the gaming industry. Have you noticed something off about the gaming industry in the past like 5-6 years? Maybe it's just me, maybe I'm stepping out of that time in my life where I could just obsess about video games and spend 8 hours a day playing these things, but it seems like there's just too much happening all at once. In my mind, one of the greatest years in gaming was 2017, which I mean, come on, the Switch 1 came out, Breath of the Wild came out, which I mean, holy shit, that game is fantastic. Mario Odyssey, Yakuza, Splatoon, Neo, Persona 5 came out in 2017, Wolfenstein 2 came out in 2017, Nier Automata came out in 2017, Horizon, I guess. Not to mention so many great indie games like Cuphead, Hollow Knight, which is finally getting a sequel, Night in the Woods, and one game that I don't hear too many people talking about anymore, which is What Remains of Edith Finch, which is one of my personal favorite games. But it felt like in 2017, everyone was bringing their A game, and it was like a constant, stream of video games. Now, it seems like for the past few years, it's just been constant. And maybe there's not as many 10 out of 10s, but it's just so many, games coming out, so many indie games coming out, so many AAA games coming out. I can't keep up with all of it. It's kind of like drowning. Poor me, I'm drowning in my video games. Truthfully, because of this, when I do take the time to play video games, it's either a really long game like Tears of the Kingdom, Persona 4, something like that, Baldur's Gate 3, or it's a free-to-play game like Valorant, or Rainbow Six is getting free-to-play soon, something like that. Repo, cheap games like that. It seems like it's the same thing every month, like a new game will come out, a big deal. Marvel Rivals, Helldivers, and then they're big for like a month or two, and then it'll die off, and then there's something new. Sometimes it's more often than that. It'll be like 2 weeks. Something's a trend for like a week. It seems like we've, in the gaming world, have developed this Instagram Reel, TikTok, brain rot mindset, where it's just this constant stream of entertainment, and we get sick of things so quickly. But I don't think we're actually getting sick of it. I think it's because the actual substance of these games is only meant to satisfy you for a month because they know that something new is going to come out next month and that's going to get your attention then. So they only need to keep you happy for about a month. It seems like entertainment has become cheap, plentiful, and abundant to the point where it's damaging not only the quality of the games that we're playing, but our attention spans. I remember growing up in a beautiful time known as the 2000s, where I had my Nintendo Wii, which was a big upgrade from the GameCube. And looking back on it, no, it wasn't. GameCube was goated, by the way. But I had a really short list of games. Part of that was because I was poor and I didn't have very many games. But part of it is because I didn't need that many. I had Mario Galaxy, I had Paper Mario, I had Wii Sports, I had games like that. Then I got my Wii U. Oh, that was a good year. 2015, the Mario Maker bundle comes out. I convinced my parents that everybody is playing the Wii U. Turns out, not everybody is playing the Wii U, but they get it for me anyway. That's not even a good reason to convince your parents to get you a gaming console. But anyways, I get me my Mario Maker console for Christmas. That's a good Christmas. And then I start gaming on the Wii U, 2015. And that's a really short list of games that I have on the Wii U too. Mario 3D World, Mario Maker, obviously. Smash Bros, Mario Kart 8, games like that. I really didn't have that many games, but yet I was happy and I was content and I wasn't switching to a new game every 2 weeks. And then the Switch came out 2017 and I started playing Breath of the Wild. And oh my gosh, that game has ruined me and maybe is the reason I'm making this video in the first place. I easily logged 1,000 hours into Breath of the Wild and I definitely got my money's worth. That was $60, and man, was that worth it. I would have spent easily $120 on that game, because I've spent $60 on games I've played for 50 hours, and it's still worth the $60, don't get me wrong, but man, Breath of the Wild is just a different beast of a game. But when I actually think about what I did from like 2014 to 2020, all I really did was play video games, because I was a loser. Was is debated. I only had like 50 games, but fast forward that to now, I have how many games? I wrote this down. I have 126 games on Steam, 282 games on Epic. Yes, I'm one of those weirdos. Got the free games on Epic, you should too. I have around 75 games on Switch, 40 on the Wii, 15 on the Wii U, and then a dozen GameCube games. And then I have like 20 PlayStation games that are sitting in a box on the other side of this camera because I sold my PlayStation 3 because I never played it, and I don't know what to do with the games. Nobody's buying them on eBay, so what can you do? I have too much to play, and I haven't really even played that many games that have come out in the past 5 years. I played Elden Ring, Tears of the Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, Helldivers 2, Guilty Gear Strive. That's a great game. I love Bridget. Shout out to Bridget. Bridget Mains, anyone? Anyone? Bridget Mains? It seems like we have too many games coming out, and this isn't so much a problem with indie developers as it is AAA studios just constantly releasing mid-tier games, but they're doing it all of the time, so it's okay. So you're constantly entertained, even if it's not good entertainment, at least you're not bored. But it seems like we're over-entertained to the point where we get bored way too easily with games that truthfully shouldn't do that to us. It seems like the gaming industry is a bubble that's about to pop, and it seems to me that the best way to fix that is up the prices. Why do I say that? If you up the prices, less crappy games will be made. Let me explain. At first, this 80-90 thing will go into effect. This is my guess. GTA 6 will be $100. People are going to buy these games, and they're going to obsess about them and play them all of the time. They're going to get their money's worth for sure, because hey, you're spending $90, $100 on a game. Of course you're going to do that. And then these other AAA studios will start noticing that, and they're going to start also increasing their prices. So you're going to see another Assassin's Creed, another Call of Duty, that's $90. It's not going to be worth it, and people aren't going to buy it. I think you're going to see a massive shift in the gaming industry. Companies like Ubisoft that are already going down are probably going to go under. You're going to slowly phase out the 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 Starfield Avowed type of game. It's fine. I paid $60 for it. It works. I think that what that'll do is create a more steady stream of games that's not so extreme, because AAA studios are going to take their time and make actual good products that are worth $90. And wouldn't that benefit everybody? I think it would. One side effect of this is I think you're going to see a lot more free-to-play games, and I think you could even potentially see some franchises going and becoming free-to-play with battle passes and microtransactions and the such. Like, I could see in 10 years' time, Call of Duty becomes free-to-play, and they just lean heavy into the battle passes and only do one game, and it's just like Call of Duty Black Ops 12 or whatever, and that's their game for the next decade or whatever. I'm just talking too much. But I think you're going to see developers pace themselves because they know people aren't going to put up with a crappy game for $90. So we have to take an extra year or two to develop a better game, fix all the bugs, not have it be crappy on release, not, actually make half the game available at launch and then do the rest on DLC where you have to pay $30. Come on. And that's a good thing. Like, why are we saying, well, it's $60 and it's the new thing and sure, it's buggy. When it's $90, people aren't going to make that excuse and you're going to force developers to make better games. And I think that'll be a good thing. And another thing that will do is slow down the intake at which we're consuming things. People will value their backlogs a little bit more, which I think everybody probably needs to do. Maybe I'm projecting, but I've spent too much money on video games and I need to play BioShock. And the final reason I think this would be good is I think you're going to see more support for indie games. And sure, the prices might also increase for those indie games, which is good. I mean, support your indie games. They need the money a lot more than the AAA developers do, for sure. So if they increase their prices, I don't think anyone would really complain. A game like Hollow Knight Silksong being $30 or $40, I don't think very many people would complain about if that game actually ever comes out, whatever. I think you're also going to see a lot of people move away from constantly playing those AAA games and playing more indie games, which I think is a good thing for the industry as a whole because it means more spotlight being put on these smaller development teams or just solo developers, making what honestly could be just as good of an experience for a lot cheaper. So if you're miffed about Mario Kart World being $90, play Garfield Kart or something. If you're miffed about the new Mario Party being, how much is it? It's $70. You get the $20 expansion. I don't know how that all works. That's weird. But if you don't want to play that, play 100% Orange Juice, which it might look like crap, but trust me on this, it is a classic. But the mid-tier $60 games that you're seeing now, $60, $70 games, again, Avowed, I'm looking at you. Those aren't going to exist anymore. And I think that's a good thing. I think if we just bought one $90 game every once in a while and then bought a couple indie games here and there, if we're not feeling the $90 price tag, you'd see a lot less crappy games and you'd see a lot more indie games that are better experiences than what AAA offers. And I think that's a good thing for the gaming industry. And I think it could keep us from imploding and destroying ourselves as we just nestle into mediocrity. It was okay. 6 out of 10. There were bugs everywhere. But hey, that's what you get. It's a Bethesda game. What can you do? I'll be playing Duskbloods. I won't be picking up Donkey Kong Bonanza. I don't really feel the need to right away. But I'll play Mario Kart World for $80. That seems like it'd be a good time. But I'm definitely not going to play another Bethesda game if they up their prices $30. Thank you very much. That's the video. Obligatory plug, if you can't tell, keyboard. I make music on this channel. I don't know what I want to do with this channel. I'll probably make a few more videos. I love video games. I make soundtracks for games. I make my own music. So that's the sort of content that you're going to see is a mix of music, video game inspired music, and personal tracks of my own, as well as these gaming videos where I just blab on about my terrible opinions. Maybe convince some people to have some terrible opinions too. I don't really know what I want to do with this. Every once in a while I get in this mood where I make YouTube videos, so we're just rolling with the mood right now. So if you enjoyed, cool, thanks. I didn't swear very much. I should probably swear more. I think that'd be funny for the videos. Adding some censor bars, some loud explosions. Future me, edit in some explosions. I don't know.